Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Mind Body Content Podcast. And we are your hosts, Nick Pinelli, Raymond Oliveras over there, and I am Chris Lawler. And our mission every week is to educate you about the three things all entrepreneurs must pay attention to: their mind, their body, and of course, the content that they put out there. Please don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe on wherever you consume your content. On today's show, we are going to be talking about our first piece of gear that got us started on this journey of content creation there, guys. I know you're all excited about this. How are we all doing today?
Super excited. Super excited.
Great, baby.
Yeah,
I do have one question for Nick real quick. I notice every time, for those listeners, every time you do the three things, you do the German three.
Yes, I think the German three is just stronger than the American one.
Okay.
It's your thumb and then
two fingers
as opposed to.
And so there you go, man. Your first piece of gear, opposable thumbs. Let's go ahead and get started with that one. Since I am old, I remember when I grew my first opposable thumbs. I was there when evolution happened.
Well, at least you grew them. I apparently had to go to the store and buy my opposable thumbs the way that you just said it.
Yeah, that was his first piece. It's just
it's
a twist on thumb.
It's a twist on.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a pop in.
Mine just came already.
Yeah.
Robot, like
yeah. Anyway. That's ridiculous. These are ridiculous times, people. But yeah, today I would love to talk to you guys about the gear that you bought that made you feel like you were becoming a content creator and an entrepreneur. But before we dive into that subject, we're going to take a quick look at today's mindset quote. It's coming from Casey Neistat. Raymond, over there, take it away for us, man.
Mr. Neistat. Equipment doesn't matter. It's all about the story you want to tell. And I think it's very prevalent if anyone's ever watched Casey Neistat's vlogs, YouTube, his movie that he has back in the day on HBO. But he's very focused on the quality of the story, the quality of what each shot means, how does it pull an audience in, rather than what gear he uses. I think he started just doing everything on his phone for the longest time. I think he's done a lot of huge commercials for like Nike and stuff like that, just on using a phone. And they're all engaging and awesome to watch. I mean, in my personal opinion, I love Casey Neistat's style. I know there's someone here is maybe.
I'm just not as familiar with him at all.
Yeah.
I know he's a YouTuber, is what I said, and then you said no.
Well, he's a YouTuber.
That's
and he's a huge entrepreneur. Like he has a lot of other businesses in the background, and he makes big deals that people don't necessarily talk about, but like he briefly mentions it in some of his vlogs. So like studying how his work ethic is and like what he does is when I was, on this content journey, it has helped me break into new avenues. Because his work ethic is phenomenal. Like, and he I don't know how the man functions really. He gets like 5 or 6 hours of sleep, but he wakes up, he does like his 8 to 9 mile run. He has everything just like dialed in.
Wow.
And yeah, including like 2 or 3 workouts. It's insane. And then I know.
Wow.
He's awesome. Like anyways.
So he's got it dialed in, and he's someone that, we could all aspire to look up to a little bit. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Right on. But his quote is definitely profound with the fact that it really doesn't matter about the gear, right? If you get creative enough, I bet you could pick up an old school 16 millimeter hand cranking camera. And as long as you've got that creative narrative, there's a story to be told, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
If you found one of them, that'd be.
I know, right?
That'd be really cool.
How would you get it developed and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. That would tell a totally different story with that gear. I mean, I think that's something else too. Is we can tell using the different gear that we have will help us tell that story in different ways too.
Yeah, and I think maybe the best thing is that a lot of people probably beginning think that they've got to get better gear. I've got to go and buy the best of the best, or else mine won't pop off like these other videos do and stuff like that. And I guarantee some of the stuff that you see that looks really good might have been done on a cell phone. Those iPhone 14 Pros actually can do some sick stuff. And if you really just understand lighting and storytelling, right? Like you can bring something together. Have either one of you ever done anything with your cell phone like solely and done a project like that?
Yes. Ooh, did you hear that? Did anyone else hear
What are you talking about?
Uh,
Yes, I heard that.
Yes, I did. I did. Actually, that was
It's going through puberty. Nick is going through the second phase of puberty.
yeah, after I buy my thumbs, the next thing I'm going to buy is puberty.
Okay. Good instinct. Good upgrade.
Yeah, good upgrade there.
Yeah.
No, actually, that was where I was going to go with my first section here for the gear. Was the first piece of gear that I really invested in to tell any sort of story was my phone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is the iPhone 11. I was not a I never stayed up on the trends as far as what was the best phone to have or anything like that. So, while people were probably on iPhone like 8 or 9, I had the old flip phone still. So, I was I was way, way behind the times. And then what ended up happening was I decided I wanted to go onto this journey of filmmaking, but it was at the very beginning where I was invested, but I wasn't still really fully invested. So I tried to think of how could I get a really great camera um, while still kind of being smart about my purchases. And I realized, oh, there's a lot of people who do a lot of great stuff with their phone. And I said, what if I went all the way up to the newest level, got the best gear at the time, which was the iPhone 11, and how could I tell my story? And that was what I did. I used that camera to shoot a 10-minute short film. And the entire thing was done based off of that. I ended up getting one or two other little upgrades, but those little things ended up getting me to really be motivated and tell my first story, which was incredible. And it did still cost me more than I think I would have wanted, which is actually very interesting because Raymond, I know you have a video which explains how to get really great stuff out of some maybe not as expensive equipment.
Yeah. I have my very first YouTube video that I made back in 2018 with my best friend. It's how to take photos like a pro for under $600.
Oh, it's photos, not video? Okay, never mind.
but
Scrap it. Scrap the segment. Scrap it.
Yeah, it's when I was just a photographer. I think this was like my first or second video that I ever really created. I edited this whole thing and we filmed it on I don't know what we filmed it on because we weren't filming it on my own camera. But like I saw gear. I mean, I was just cheap, honestly, and I always had a fixed mindset about money, but I was blessed that I got this camera as a gift from my family for Christmas. But then I didn't want to buy like the expensive lenses or anything like that. I decided to go for like some budget off-brand lenses, but I was still able to get really high quality photos. And then this ended up being the camera that I used when I did decide to go into video. It doesn't have a mic input or anything like that. So it's just like most of the videos that I ended up taking were like B-roll or voiceover or stuff like that. And I never connected it into like a microphone itself. And then once I started getting into more interview style stuff professionally, like I would, there is a certain thing where like you do need certain amount of gear to do what you want it to do. Like to really sound good, for the most part, like audio equipment, like having a good mic, me not having the I'm using a lav mic, not a podcaster mic, as I say that, because me still being cheap, just a little bit. But no, like when I got into interviews and stuff like that, like I needed to use like Zooms, field recorders, so I could actually capture the audio and make it nice and clean and crisp. So I think gear is not the most important thing to buy all the new stuff, but it is, depending on what you need to do, you need certain gear that does the job.
Okay. Gear with a purpose is what you're really talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
Way to just sum it up. Yeah. I love it.
yeah, no, I mean, that's great. I think a lot of people overextend themselves at first with gear, thinking they need this. I almost did that myself, but yeah. Nick, what were you going to say?
Well, I was actually going to say this is for content creators, but I think it can actually extend to all entrepreneurs as well.
Right. Yeah.
The concept that don't buy the new equipment, new shiny object, whatever it might be, unless you can really justify that this thing is going to make its money back or make you even more money. Right?
Or time.
Or
right?
time.
Time is another thing that
really
I'm with.
Big thing
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yes. Agreed. I had heard this great quote recently from a local entrepreneur in my area, basically saying that you can have so many things that you want to do, so many cool shots that you might want to plan out, or really great epic B-roll with a fantastic what's the word I'm looking for? Drone. I don't know why I couldn't say that word, but like a drone camera, right? Or like in the example that she was using, she was talking about like there may be several amazing opportunities that come your way to help with charitable causes or all sorts of different things. But if you're not able to even fill up your own cup with the profit that's coming in, you can't go spend your money and time doing other things. You have to be determined to get your project up and running, and then you can evolve to the next level and do the next kind of thing and include more and more and more into your circle of influence as that goes. But when it comes to gear and what Raymond was saying, and kind of as Chris summarized, the idea being that if I get this new thing, how is it going to help me and how can I leverage it to my advantage? Would be a really, really, really important topic, I would say. So, Chris, has there been actually, since you kind of brought that up, made me think, has there been any sort of gear, or I know you're super into a lot of the AI stuff now.
Yes.
What kind of stuff have you been using to really level up? And what are some things that we can be using ourselves to go from maybe a smaller investment point and yield really high return?
I mean, that was a loaded question. For me personally, it was lighting.
It was loaded dice. That's what it was. It was loaded dice.
Don't do that.
Actually, for me, it
was
lighting.
up here, you sicko. Man, that's one thing I learned. You two are both gross.
No. That's not true. Don't lump me into him with his
circle. Whoa. We're all disgusting. You're all.
I didn't say I wasn't. I just said you two are.
Like seriously, for me, like I study film and stuff like that, but I never had good enough teachers that taught lighting. So I didn't really understand that until very recently. And so investing in good lighting that has a purpose, once again, instead of just what's the most high-end thing that I can go and buy, or what's the cheapest crap that I can go and get too. There's always a happy medium. I've always been one of those people. Like, I love big, new, shiny pieces of gear. Don't get me wrong, but I also like buying the thing that's like also just as good as that top quality thing at a better price. That's still going to give me the same functionality and still give me the quality that I'm looking for. So, just investing in some good lighting was where I was at for my video, because audio has always come pretty easy, a good lav mic, a good recorder and stuff like that. And, I can mix pretty well with the audio and post. It's something that I've been doing for years from the radio side that I have a lot of experience with. But yeah, so for me on this video side, this video journey, you see, once again, because I'm so old, I grew up using VHS camcorders and no one thought about lighting. Everything was poorly lit. Like, I couldn't shoot anything on those to be proud of, at all. And now I look back on it, it's like, actually, I probably could have gotten something decent, not great, out of a home Panasonic VHS recorder that I started out making movies with, but something probably could have come together just a little bit better with some decent lighting if I had known just a little bit about that. So for me, it's lighting was like the gear that I think that people should concentrate on the most, because
I think it's a theory. I think it's a theory, honestly, when it comes to lighting. more than the actual like the gear itself. I remember when I was in college, I took a class for she was my photo teacher for journalism, news journalism, and she would said that when she was in high school or college or whatever, one of her teachers made her go to, like, their assignment was to go to Home Depot or a local store like that and buy your lighting setup for less than, it was like $50 or less than that, and create the portraits that you would do without like the expensive gear. And you can do that, but you have to know the theory behind the light, what type of light, how to diffuse it properly. Like I can, there's like some expensive scrims that you can buy to really diffuse light, a harsh light, and make your skin look soft and stuff like that. But oftentimes you can find like a sheet, like, and it works pretty damn good. Or you just kind of get really crafty or resourceful. And for me, I've always been more of the resourceful thing because I didn't want to spend money, TBH. Like for like the lighting I have right now is very intentional. I'm just using a window that's right here, and I have my shadow right here specifically. It makes a little bit more cinematic, even though it's a little. I'm just using my webcam, but if I wasn't by this window, I'd have to use a light or something. But the window makes the whole place look nice. So that's how I think of things.
At the same time, too, Raymond, for those who can't see, Raymond's actually kind of at a slight angle too, and that's what puts part of the shadow on his face. And all of us being some of the cinematographers or visual people that we are with all the gear, blah, blah, we start to understand the little bits and pieces of this. And I think, Raymond, you're hitting an awesome point that really can transfer to any you're so good again.
I know.
So good at what you do. Chris,
every time,
you're even better.
Whoa.
We're gushing.
No.
I mean
everybody's fantastic. No, you're just making a really great point again that I think can be taken across all of like any sort of entrepreneurial journey, is that if you understand the theory of a lot of what you're supposed to do, you can make the most out of the least many times over. So
exactly,
that's another really great point.
Yeah, that's a skill that is so valuable, and it saved my ass. TBH, so many times.
Also, I love that you're using TBH over and over too.
I was LOLing over it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I was ROFL.
To be honest, oh my gosh. Millennials and boomers. I swear.
No, that's it.
It's okay. I'm the last year of the millennials. I'm literally like the last of the millennials.
The last of the millennials. This sounds like a terrible movie. Last of the millennials with
could be great.
Well, speaking of which, I went ahead and grabbed this.
Oh yeah.
This is
Is that what all that noise was?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry. I went to go grab this just to show it off, like a makeshift spotlight, just some wax paper. Like there's no reason why you can't get creative with gear. Whoops. And put things together. Yeah, I know I'm breaking my set over here. That's the beauty of it. I mean, I know so many other like filmmakers on their first try don't get the budget that like a big movie production does. So then they have to think outside the box and stuff. So it's almost like depriving yourself of all this stuff, or thinking that you have to have that gear to solve that problem.
Yeah.
Okay, gentlemen, question for you, because this is something that I struggle with literally every shoot that I do. It's like, okay, I know I don't have the right gear or the gear that I'd love to have, or this shoot can't go exactly the way I want it to do, because if I had this one other thing, I could do so many other things. How do you, in your mind, continue to move forward and figure out new creative ways to problem solve? Constantly problem solve over and over. What are sort of the mind shifts that you've had to do over the years to get you to just create?
I am lucky. I have ADHD, and one of my superpowers is to find the easiest way to do any task. I know that's one of my superpowers. So when there is a problem, if it is presented, I will find the easiest solution, which is usually cheap. So that's my strength, actually.
So you're asking if we create, like, how we creatively problem solve. Mine's just like pressure, the forced pressure sometimes when you realize you don't have what you need for the shot that you want. It's like, okay, well, how can we get something similar or work just as good, if not better, without that specific stuff?
It usually is answered with gaffer tape.
Yeah, I just tape it.
9 times out of 10, tape.
A C-stand and a gaffer tape usually is the solution.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had it. It's really coming down to like the theory of stuff. Once you really like learn all the theory, you practice a lot, you figure out like how do you break down how do people get this shot in lighting? Okay, they see that gear and they're like, what can I use because I can't afford that right now? I don't have access to that. How can I still make this? Like I've done that multiple times. And it either turns out better or something close, or you just get something different, and you just got to be okay with it. Like being okay with it not being your perfect vision, because it never really comes out exactly how you imagine it. It might come out better, it might come out a little worse, but it's still like good, especially when it comes to business stuff. For gear, this is kind of a little sidetrack, but for gear, when I learned that I had everything I need to make a video that does that can generate income or help a business owner save time, build relationships, like I have all the gear that I need, I was like, okay, if I have all the things that I need, there's no reason to go for the next shiny camera, the next shiny object. Like I can just do with what I got and work with it. And if I really need more things for something specific, I can either hire someone to do it for me or I rent out the gear. But like 90% of what I have, like I can help a business and I can make money. Like I just need to now invest in my mind to get to the next level of business, because as I'm a creative first, now I'm more the business guy. Like I don't need to keep getting more creative, being more artsy. I just need to get my systems dialed in and produce good results for my client. And I have what I need to do that.
Good old systems.
Yeah.
Num, 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 num.
Oh my gosh.
I love creating new systems now. I'm sorry, this is a side thing, but I thought this was going to be more of like, how creative can I be? And it's like, I know how to be creative. Then how do you execute? How do you execute at a high volume, high level, and continuously for multiple people instead of just one-off projects and stuff? So I've been eating up systems. I love them.
Yeah. Like there's like, if we're doing live, like recording for like live streaming and stuff like that, there's like, that's a really heavily equipment based like production side. And the better equipment you have, the easier your life is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, spending thousands of dollars on that stuff is so worth it. But when you're doing like interviews and B-roll, you need to get good lighting. You need to have them be in focus and good composition and audio.
And then good audio. Yeah.
And that's, and then you're like, okay, cool. Now we just need to make sure that's the creative side for that specific industry. Right.
That's how I got started.
Yeah.
Those 3 basics. That's what I really focused on.
Yeah.
It's knowing your basics. Get back to your basics.
Yeah. So,
but I will say, Raymond, speaking of live, do we know where we're going to be next week, or actually when this episode drops?
Yeah. When this episode airs, we're going to be all hanging out together. I can't wait.
We're going to meet each other
live
in person for the first time?
in person.
Why would you say that? What, you don't remember the night we spent together? Wait.
I remember.
Wait a second.
Context.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for the fun fact for the fans, Chris and I have only met each other once in person.
And I've never met either of these two people in person before.
Nick and Nick and us we've never seen each other.
But we will all be together next week.
How tall are you, Nick?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know?
I'm sure his waist and his legs literally start right at the cutoff there.
Yeah,
I feel like
they stop 3 inches later.
I think it's always funny when you meet person for the first time after talking to them on Zoom, and they're like, you're either really, really tall or you're like a lot shorter, and you're like, I never expected this.
Fun fact: when I was in high school, I was 5'2" until I was like a junior in high school.
Now you're 5'3".
Now I'm. Well, I was gonna tell you, but you know what?
Drum roll, please.
I'll leave that. That'll be a little bit of
Audience
mystery.
imagination.
Hey, ladies.
Mystery for
He's
Mystery.
probably like 6'5", makes over $1 million,
and I have a chiseled
He's
jaw.
single and chiseled.
Yeah, chiseled jaw. Just
He's
the jaw
available.
is the only thing.
This
Maybe
is a
we'll do
deep,
our-
this is all deep fake that you've been working on every time we've been meeting.
Speaking of AI, I'm completely AI.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
No, but yes, we
That's
will
why you
be.
have perfect features.
We will be all together in Asheville, North Carolina by the time this one airs. Making some fun content, I think, together is going to be the goal, right?
Let's be together.
yes.
Not to mention talking with our mentors, our masters, and other peers within our community.
Our masters.
Yes,
I don't know.
I'm the
there are
master
people
of
who
myself.
know. There are people who know much more than we do about this, and we will have the opportunity to really get in depth, amazing analysis and their thoughts on this. So we'll be doing a few episodes that will include some guests.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking all sorts of. We may even have 5-minute guests. We may have hour-long guests. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Who
We're gonna
knows?
have-
What kind
we're
of
gonna
Who knows
we're gonna have
what's going to be?
Content.
What are you guys
strategists,
most excited
course
about?
creators.
Yeah.
This will be your first live event with this community. So what are you looking forward to, and what are you looking forward to get out of it? So two questions there.
Yeah. So this event that's coming up is an event that is really geared towards content strategists, not videographers, not content creators, content strategists. And that involves the understanding, as we were talking about earlier, of all of the basics of what content creation is, but it now includes an entirely separate part of strategy. And what I'm so excited about is taking all of these different information, just like deposits that are going to be coming my way, and these different mindsets, these different energies that I'm going to be around live and in person, taking all of that stuff in and literally just copying as much of it as I can down into my notes, into my thoughts, into my brain, and just moving forward with it, because there are so many great people that I'm so excited to meet. That I'm so excited for the listeners to get to hear their perspectives as opposed to just ours. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And that's what I'm looking forward to. But Raymond, you've been to not one, not two, but too many of these to count. What about this one excites you in particular on this, my friend?
Yeah. So, man, I've been to, with this group in particular, these mentors, I've been to 2 live ones.
So it wasn't too many to count.
It wasn't too many to count, but I have been to other in-person things with different video strategists, just this community in particular, these mentors I've been to. But like, honestly, there's a couple things I'm excited about. One, it's going to be like a vacation to me, not gonna lie. I need it. And it's like, I know these guys. I've met a lot of them in person from last year's event. And so it's just going to be a whole bunch of fun. First off, getting a break, but also just deep diving into my systems of my business and strategizing in that aspect. So it's not just learning. We're not just learning how to be better content strategists, which is, yes, we are, but like also learning how to be better business owners for our clients, for ourselves, how to, really craft the life that we're looking for. And so I'm looking to learn from my mentors more about that, and just taking a closer look about what I'm doing. How can I be better for my clients and myself? But really, it's more about the vacation thing, because it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And what about you, Chris? What are you looking forward to and taking away from?
This will be my second one. So that's where we met, was last year. at the last live event, which was
At the
awesome.
hot
And
tub.
in the hot tub. It was still a good time.
Wait
Like,
a second.
I know that
you
doesn't
did
sound
Don't
right
worry,
at all.
Nick. You'll have
in
your
the
hot tub.
tub?
You'll have your hot. Wait, do we have a hot?
I
There's
didn't.
gonna
I
be a hot
didn't
tub.
say I wanted it. I'm just saying you guys
We're
were
gonna
like,
have.
oh,
We're gonna
we
have
met
an
each other.
episode
We'll
of
leave
Mind
it where,
Body
and then it was a hot
Content
tub. Whoa.
enjoying the hot tub.
That's not
That'll
a bad
be-
idea, except for all of the power
I was
cables.
about to
But
say that'll be
I
terrible
think we
for
could just use
audio
our, we could
too.
just use our phones. Right?
Oh,
yeah, right.
gear doesn't matter.
Gear
wait,
doesn't matter.
As long as we tell a good story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, last year I was the one that was like,
I don't
guys, it's
think-
been
I
really
don't
hot.
think-
Let's all go downstairs for a swim in the pool. And they were like, we
I
have a
don't-
pool?
I don't think seeing the three of us in a hot tub is going to be a compelling story for many people.
We'll
No.
just
But,
do. We don't need the YouTube.
We'll just film from here up.
Just our
There you
eyes.
go.
Just our eyes.
That's right. That's
We'll
right.
just look intensely while we talk.
Yeah. Just tons of different.
I'm honestly, I'm same with Raymond. I'm looking for a little vacation. It's been a long year of trying to start up my business and stuff, going on my own, leaving the production company I was at and whatnot. So really, I think I'm more looking forward to just like hanging out a little bit, having a little bit of vacation, and like, I guess, decompressing over everything I've learned, which will help me like restart and focus on what I need to focus on for the rest of this year or for the next year. I think we're going to have another live event in August, though. I don't think they're going to wait another year now. So we may not have as much time to go away and come back. But yeah, that's really what I'm looking for. And taking away probably just more relationships. There's going to be a lot more people at this one. And I've stayed really in touch with a lot of the people that I connected with at the first event, done work for and with some of those people as well. So just developing some new relationships is, I think, the one thing I really want to take away, so it's going to be a good time, man. You should be in for a treat. So yeah, Nick, I hope you're excited.
Well, so should the listener too. I will say this, because we're going to be hopped up on like so much energy and excitement that these next episodes,
We're gonna have one episode drunk. I swear.
Well,
okay.
well.
Well, I think we're going to have some nice
Who says we
fireside
haven't
chats
already?
out there.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
Who says we haven't already?
But yeah, I think we're going to have some fun times out there. So yeah, I'm going to come back so hyped that from that Friday, I don't think I'm going to sleep from the flight home. And then, probably Sunday, I'm probably going to need to call up everybody on my team and be like, this is what I learned and this is what I see for the future. I can't wait, so I'm trying to like relax before then. So that way I'm not,
Solid.
overly exerting my energy before we get there, because I know it's going to be a fun time. So I'm ready.
Cool.
This will be fun,
cool.
man. You guys will be there. Me and Nick, we're flying in on the same flight from Atlanta. That'll be interesting. Yeah, you were like, let's podcast on the plane. And then I looked at the flight time and it's like not even like 60 minutes from Atlanta to North Carolina.
Wait, you guys gonna sit next to each other and
I don't think we have seats right now, but we can figure it out.
If somebody else tries to sit in between us, we'll just include them in the podcast.
That would be fun. Maybe we could find an
You
entrepreneur.
guys should record something on
the.
No, you guys should record something while you're on the plane.
And filling in for Raymond today
funny.
is.
Yeah. I'll record something on my flight, and
I'll
then
bring
I'll just
my
look at the
Raymond
person
sock
who's
puppet.
sleeping next to me.
He'll just chime in.
Did you say your Raymond sock bucket? Like,
well,
pocket?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that way I don't have to bring mine. That way I don't have to bring mine.
I don't want to know what you do with your socks. Okay.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay, well, on that uncomfortable note.
and Nick, you said I was gross.
Yeah.
This is okay. This is sock puppets for children, you disgusting person.
That's what today's show turned into. So good.
I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
We start off strong and end off. Woo!
Yeah, exactly.
Well, guys, I'm excited to see you guys. It's only about 1 week away. It's going to be a fun time. And of course, then we get to come back and have a bunch of new content and a bunch of new strategies for what we're going to teach, talk about, and go into depth with our listeners on the MBC podcast. So I want to thank everyone for tuning into today's show. If you did enjoy what you heard, tune in every week for more. And please consider subscribing on whatever platform you're enjoying us on. If it's on Apple Podcasts, be sure to give us the biggest 5-star review you can. Until next time, remember, now is the time to turn that content creation into monetization. And we'll see you next time here on Mind Body Content.
All right.